Hello guys, welcome to Help for Good e-learning. My name is Prashant Jha, I am your IT trainer. So in this video we are going to cover that how to give a technical interview question answers in MNC company in C and C++ language, because most of the students are going to be having a questions how to deliver the answers, what kind of questions they will get in MNC company when they are going to facing interviews. So today we have an expert, Mr. Ashish Gadpayle, who is going to give an answer to interview questions. Mr. Ashish Gadpayle is a national level winner in programming and 2-time state level winner in programming. So let's start. Okay, Mr. Ashish, so we will start the technical session. So first question is that what kind of storage classes in C? So give me the example also.
Okay, storage classes determines that lifetime, visibility, memory location, and what is the initial value of the variable. There are 4 types of storage classes in C. First one is auto, static, register, and extern. So by default, every variable declare as a auto, means no need to mention keyword. If any variable declare as a static, that's considered as a this is a static variable. If any variable declare with the keyword extern, that is considered as an extern variable, means global variable that can be accessed throughout the program and outside the program also. And if any variable declare as a register, that is considered as a register variable. So all variables are declared inside a RAM, but register variable declared inside a register, and mainly register variable used for to execution fast programming. Like suppose I want to develop application or game which performance will be fast, so that variable may be declared inside a register.
Okay, what is a variable?
Variable is a name given to the memory location or storage area, and its value change during the program execution. For example, I have declared variable int a is equal to 20. So what that means, a is a variable, the data type is integer, and it consumes 2 byte or 4 byte of memory according to the size of the compiler. Suppose I am using a 16-bit compiler, so my memory will be allocated 2 byte. If I am using 32-bit compiler, so my memory will be 4 byte.
Okay, and then what is the data type?
Data type tells that what type of value held by the variable. That value will be maybe integer, maybe character, maybe float, maybe double.
Okay, and what is the typecasting?
Typecasting means to conversion of one data type into another data type is called as typecasting. Means whenever we need to convert from integer to character or character to float or character to integer, so in such a case we use the typecasting concept. So there are 2 types of typecasting, that is implicit typecasting. Second one is explicit typecasting. Implicit typecasting does by compiler itself, and explicit typecasting we have to do forcefully. Means forcefully conversion, we can say that it is an explicit typecasting. So in implicit typecasting, the lower range data will be assigned to the higher range data, like char assigned to int assigned to long assigned to float assigned to double. But it's opposed in the explicit typecasting. So in explicit typecasting, the double variable will be assigned to float, then float will be converted into a long will be converted into int, and then int will be converted into the character. One important point is there, that is whenever we are performing operation with data type, so then a higher range value will be assigned. Like suppose I am performing operation int and long. So after performing the operation, the data will be converted into the long.
Okay, so as we know that the C language was developed in 1972. So what was the purpose to develop the C language? Is there any important purpose behind of that?
Yes, actually C language was developed to design a compatible Unix operating system. So there was a drawback in Unix operating system. That's why Ken Thompson was assigned a work to the Dennis Ritchie to design a compiler for my operating system. So that's why they have coded in C programming, and their compiler is integrated to that Unix operating system. And so this is the main purpose, to design a compiler for Unix operating system. But then actually it has another advantages, like we can develop application software and system software. That's why it is very much used.
Okay, so tell me that how can we reuse the code in C++ programming language?
Yes, in C++, by using polymorphism and inheritance concept, we can reuse the code, because in case of inheritance, we reuse the properties of parent class into a child class. But we can also create the header files. So by using a header files, we can also reuse the code.
Can we create our own header file in C language?
Yes, it is possible to create user-defined header file. The difference is that if we have a predefined header file, so that will be mentioned in the angular bracket. But if we have created a user-defined header file, so that will be included in the double quote.
Okay, what is the data type? What is the data type in C language, and give me the detailed information about the data type.
Okay, data type tells what type of value held by the variable. That value may be integer type, character type, or floating type. So there are 3 types of data types available in C++. So first one is primary data type. In primary data type, we have character, integer, long, float, double. And in case of derived data type, we have that is function, pointers, and we have another user defined data type, means which is defined by the user. So we have array, structure, enum and type def.
Okay. Okay, what is the command line argument?
Command line argument used when we want to pass argument from outside the program, means when we want to control our program from outside. So in such a case we use command line argument. In case of C and C++, we know that main function is not having any parameter, but if you want to pass some parameters from outside the program, then in such a case we use command line argument by making a parameterized main function.
Okay. What is a pointer?
Pointer is like a variable which is able to store the address of another variable. Means whenever we want to store the value, we use the normal variables, and if you want to store the addresses, then we use the pointer variable. In case of pointer, we use two symbols. That is first in asterisk and second one is ampersand. So asterisk is meant for value, means we are dealing with the value, and whenever we are seeing that there is an ampersand, so we have to deal with the addresses.
Okay. What is the inheritance?
Whenever we want to access the properties from parent class into a child class, in such a case we use inheritance. So there are 5 types of inheritance: single level inheritance, multi-level, multiple, hybrid and hierarchy inheritance.
Okay. So what is the main application of inheritance?
The main application of inheritance is reusability of code. Means we don't need to create the other code if we have already created code inside a parent class. So just inherit that class, and by using a child class object we can access that data easily.
Okay. What is a polymorphism?
Polymorphism means having a many forms. Like for example, person. If person in the classroom, it behave like a student. If person in the home, it behave like a son. If person in the market, it behave like a customer. So that we can say having a multiple forms. So polymorphism are categorized into two groups. That is, first one is compile type polymorphism. Second one is runtime polymorphism. The best application for the compile type polymorphism is function overloading, and the best application for the runtime polymorphism is function overriding.
Okay. So when we go for a function overloading and when we go for a function overriding, how can you decide?
Okay, actually overloading means what? To perform some additional tasks, to give some additional task, that is called overloading. So in C++ there are two types of overloading, that is operator overloading and function overloading. So when we want to overload the name and we want to perform different operation with the name, so in such a case we use function overloading. And overriding means what? Whenever if I'm not satisfying with parent class function, so then we should write our own function in child class. Then in such a case we use function overriding. For example, parent class is having a bike function. I'm not satisfying with my parent class bike function, so I can override that function and I can write my own definition in child class. In such a case we can say that we use overriding concept.
Okay. What is the encapsulation?
Encapsulation means binding and grouping the data into a single unit. So class is the best example of encapsulation. It binds data member and functions together.
So can you give me any example of encapsulation?
Real life example?
Yes.
In the case of real life example, for example, suppose we have a capsule. Capsule is there. What capsule is doing? Capsule is wrapping the data into a single unit. So to provide a flexibility and protection. Okay. So same in the class. What class is doing? It is binding data member and associate its member function and protecting by its specifier like public, private and protected.
Okay. What is a user defined data type?
User defined data means which is defined by the user.
Okay. So what is the difference between structure and union?
Structure and union means actually structure is used to create. Why we create the structure? Because we want to create the heterogeneous data. Okay, so in such case we use the structure. The same work is done by the union. But in case of structure, whenever we are mentioning any variables, so that whole memory will be occupied by the structure. But union is used for the memory management purpose. So when we create a union, so it find which variable is having a highest size. So only that memory will be allocated, and that is the shareable memory which is shared by the other variables in case of union. So we can say that union is used for the memory management purpose.
What is a type def data type?
Type def data type is used to create new data types by using an existing data type. Like for example, we have an int data type. So if we replace by it number, so we can use number in place of int.
Okay. What is the application of enumeration?
Enumeration is used for to create a number of constant. Actually in case of C, we use hash define to create a constant. In C++, we use const keyword to create a constant. But if you want to create a number of constant at a time, so then we use enumeration.
Okay. What is a function?
Function is a self-contained block which is executed separately and return output to the main function, because callable function is our main function.
Okay, and types of function?
Types of functions, we have two types of function, that is predefined function and user defined function. Predefined function means which already been defined inside a library of C and C++, and user defined function which is created by user.
Okay, so can function return a multiple value at a time?
Function cannot return multiple value at a time, but by using a pointer concept we can return multiple values at a time from functions.
Okay, so as we know that in C language there are three types of loops: for loop, while loop and do while loop. So what is the basic difference between these loops?
Why we use looping? When we want to execute our code repeatedly again and again, then we should go with looping. So there are three types of loop: for loop, while loop and do while loop. So when range is given, then we use for loop. When range is not given, means stopping criteria is not given, then we use while loop. And do while is used for menu driven programming concepts.
Okay, what is the application of switch case?
Switch case is used for multiple choice statement. Like there is a drawback in if-else ladder. Like suppose we have 1,000 number of conditions and my compiler is checking that is condition true, is that condition true, no. So at the last we know that else part is executed means my condition is false. So in such case the compiler time will be wasted. So in such a case we use switch case.
Okay, what is the importance of main function? Because we see that in every program we used to write main function. So what is exactly a main role and importance of main function?
Main function is used to provide the callable environment for predefined function and user defined function. That's why we use main function, and it is the starting point of the program.
Okay, what are the jumping statements?
Jumping statements are the break, continue and go to.
Okay, what is the inline function?
Inline function is used for to fast execution. Like any function is an inline function by default in C++. So if you mention inline keyword with any function, that is fast execution. What it actually is doing, whenever we are calling that inline function, that function body will be replaced to the callable area. So that so means we can say that it is a fast execution.
Okay. What is a friend function?
Friend function is used when we want to access private protected data of a class. Like public data we can access easily, but we cannot access private data and protected data. So whenever we want to access a private data and protected data member of a class, so then we use the friend function. So we have to declare a function inside a class as a friend, but that definition will be declared outside a class.
Okay, what is the default value of array?
Default value of array may varies from compiler to compiler. So maybe in some compiler there may be a garbage value, in some compiler there may be a zero value. So latest compiler generally initialized by 0.
What are the extraction and insertion operator in C++?
Extraction and insertion operator means double greater than sign, this is our extraction operator, and double less than sign, this is our insertion operator. We are using for input and output purpose.
What is a template?
Template is a very important feature in C++. Actually, there is a problem with the data types. Like suppose I am using an integer data type and I want to perform some operations, so only integer value will be stored. Okay, but if you want to perform operation with the characters, so we cannot supply integers there. When we want to perform the operation with the float, we cannot supply a float in there. So we have to create other data, means explicit data for each and every variables. Okay, so template provides the facility to create only template type of variables, and on template type of variable we can store any type of values. Like for example, template types of variable can contain integer, float, character and int types. So we have two types of template concepts there, that is function template and another is class concept. So we can say that it is reusability of code, and code optimization will be there. So no need to write multiple code. Like suppose I have to find largest number from two integers, same code will be applicable, and I want to find largest number using floating variable, so no need to write code others. So only one function template is there, that is enough.
Okay, what is a call by value, call by reference and call by address? Exactly what kind of difference between them?
Call by value means when we call any function by passing actual values, that we can say that call by value, and when we pass addresses while calling, so then we can say that that is a call by address. But call by reference is the another concept in C++. Actually there is a reference variable concept. Reference variable means it is an alternate name by mentioning ampersand to any variable, so that is a reference variable. So reference variable we are using in case of call by reference. So when we use call by reference, so actual values will be passed and copies to the called variables.
Okay. So first of all, what is the exception handling, and does C++ support the exception handling?
Yes, C++ support the exception handling. Exception handling means actually there are some errors like compile time error and runtime error. So compile time errors can be easily rectified, but runtime errors we cannot handle. So that runtime errors are nothing but the exceptions in C++. So if any error comes at runtime, so there may be chance that they can disturb our normal flow of the execution program. So that's why we have to handle that exceptions by using exception handling.
Okay. What is the compile time error and what is the runtime error? And suppose if this kind of error will come at during your program development, so how can you handle it?
Actually compile time error means due to syntax error. This is generally syntax error which comes before running the program, and runtime errors means due to a bad logic of the program, or we can say that poor knowledge of programming to the user. So there may be chances to generate the runtime errors. Like runtime errors may be array index out of bound, maybe error will be there. Sometimes my size is full, array size is full, and I want to insert some data. So in that case we can say that is runtime error. Like when you want to divide two values, and no value will be divided by the 0. So because division by 0 is not possible, so that we can say also this is a runtime error. So this is a we can say that these are exceptions.
Okay. What is the translators?
Translator means the conversion of one language to another language is so in such case we use the translators. So we have three types of translators in C programming, C++ we can say, or computer languages. First one is assembler, then compiler, then interpreter. Actually assembler, what assembler does, assembler translate the assembly language into a machine language, because at the end we need to convert it into a machine language, because machine understand only machine level language only. But compiler and interpreter both translate high level language to the machine level language. High level language means we can say English, Hindi, Marathi also, like C, C++, Java. Okay, that are the high level languages. But difference between compiler and interpreter is compiler translate complete source code into one pass, and interpreter translate that code into line by line, like statement by statement execution.
Okay, what do you mean by file handling concept?
File handling is a very important feature in C and C++. Actually, before file handling, whenever we want to store data, so we use variables. But in case of variable hold data temporary. But if you want to store data permanently into hard disk, then we should go with the file handling concepts.
Okay, so is there any big difference in case of C language file handling and C++ file handling?
Yes, actually concept is the same. Like in C, C++, we have to perform the read-write operation with the files, but there are some differences. Like in case of C, we are using only procedure oriented structure. Like we have some functions given. So by using that function, we have to do operations on the file handling. But in C++, we are using stream concept, that is input stream, output stream concept, F stream concept. So by using the stream concept, we are using that file handling concept in C++. But if we talk about the difference again, so C++ file handling is very much easy as compared to C's file handling.
Okay. So suppose if you want to allocate a dynamic memory in case of C and in case of C++, what kind of code we have to write?
Actually dynamic binding means allocating memory at runtime. Means like suppose I am declaring an array of size 10, so it is static memory. Okay, but I can't increase and decrease the size of that during runtime. So that's why I use the dynamic memory concept. So in C language, we are allocating dynamic memory by using calloc and malloc functions. In C++, we have to use a new keyword. New operator is there. So by using new operator, we are allocating memory. In C language, free keyword use means free function is used for deallocating memory, because if we have borrowed memory, so we have to return that memory to the CPU. So that is why we use a free keyword. But in C++ we have a delete operator. So what delete operator is doing, whatever memory is allocated by the new operator, that will be deallocated by the delete operator. But in C++ we have another functionality, that is we can reallocate the size. Like suppose my alloc and malloc function has already allocated 100 bytes of memory. I want to increase that up to 200 bytes of memory. So that can be done by the realloc function in C.
Okay, what do you mean by manipulators in C++?
Manipulators are generally used to perform operation on the output statements. So number of manipulators are there, like handle, hex, dec, hexadecimal. Like I want to convert into octal to OCD manipulator is there. Then set precision we have, it is used to set the precision of the number. Then we have set w. Set w we have generally it is used to set the width. Like we are using a slash t for 8 bit of space. So we are using a set w and we are passing 10, so only 10 spaces will be left. So we have another set fill function is there in manipulators. So set fill function is doing, whatever space will be padded, width will be padded with the set w, so that will be filled by the set fill, and these all are manipulators available in iomanip.h.
Okay, so as we know that as per the development point of view, memory management is a really very important topic. So in case of C++, how can you manage the memory? How can you reduce as much as possible to reduce the size of your application?
Yes, actually in C++, new and delete operators are used for a memory management purpose. Okay, so like suppose I want to create an array and I want to sort that array element. So what we need to do, we need to create a array of size, suppose 10. Okay, so like integer array is created, so according to 40 byte will be allocated. But if you are using a dynamic memory allocation concept, like suppose new operator I am using, so what I need to create, I need to get only pointer variable. Now that 40 byte memory will be allocated dynamically, so no need to mention explicitly. So that memory will be created runtime, and runtime memory will be deleted. So that we can, so then we can say that we can save that memory. But in case of static array, suppose I have created 100 size of array, but I am using only 10 values, so my 19 block of memory will be wasted. So in such a case, we have to use some memory management operations. So by performing the memory management operation, our application will run smoothly, and if it will not take more resources, like more RAM will not be needed. So we have to try that as memory size of code and size of memory as less as possible.
Okay, so tell me, what is the basic and main difference between C and C++ language?
C and C++. Okay, C is mainly used for mainly built for procedure-oriented programming language, and C++ is supported object-oriented features. Means it is an object-oriented programming language. So in case of C, no virtual functions are available. In C++, virtual functions are available. C language doesn't support polymorphism. It C++ supports the polymorphism concept. No exception handling features are available in C. But exception handling are available in C++. If you want to perform the memory management type operation like dynamic memory allocations, we have calloc, malloc. So here in C++ we have a new keyword. Here we have free functions to deallocate memory. So in C++ we have delete operator is there. In C language we can say if you want to perform input output operations, so we have printf and scanf. So in C++ we have object, that is cin and cout objects. So there are many differences, and the main difference is again like the C language follow the top to bottom approach, and C++ follow the bottom to top approach. And in case of C also, like whenever we are creating any variable, so that all variable declared should be at the top of the main. Okay, but in C++ we can declare anywhere variable, and that's why that this C++ support the dynamic binding in C++.
Okay. So C and C++, is their platform independent or dependent?
C++ are the platform dependent languages. We cannot say it is a platform independent. Yes, but if we are using this concept, this code in our other applications, we can say that it is a platform independent, but it is generally platform dependent languages.
Okay, what is a Stack Overflow error and when does it occur?
Actually, Stack Overflow error occur when my stack is full. So when my stack might be full, like suppose I want to insert some values, and like suppose I am incrementing some loop. Okay, so in that case, it is my loop will be in infinite time. So in that, such case, we can say that a stack overflow error may occur.
Okay, can we handle it?
We at the runtime we cannot handle, but during the performing the logic, we have to solve that by passing the some conditions and by applying some functions. So we can overcome that.
Okay, what is the namespace?
Namespaces are the very important features in C++. Actually, generally namespaces are used to avoid the naming conflicts. And like for example, in the classroom we have a two student name like Sana. Okay, Sana are the two students. So we can't suppose I am calling to a student that is Sana. So second Sana will be confused. Okay, so to avoid naming conflicts, we use the namespaces. Namespaces in C++, and also namespaces are available in other languages like C# also. And in case of namespaces, we are using the standard std, that is using namespace standard. The using directive, by using the using directive, we can include that namespace and we can use that namespaces.
Okay, what are the preprocessor directories in C language?
Preprocessor directive means which is already been preprocessed. So generally hash define we are using in C language to define the constant in C. Also hash define used to create the macros. So what is the use of the macros? Generally we are using macros for to replace the values and to write the algorithmic program in C. So we are using that directives.
Okay, and in case of C language, we saw that we have to pass a format specifier, that means your control string. For integer purpose, we have to take a %d. For floating purpose, floating point value purpose, we have to take a %f. But in case of C++, there is an insertion extension operator out there. So why in C this kind of control string we are using?
Actually, C language was the first language of the programming concept. Its compiler was not too strong. Its compiler need that what is the my type of the value. So that's why we have to pass explicitly the control string. Like if compiler want to understand it is a character value, so we have to pass control C. Compiler want to understand it is an integer value, then we have to pass %d or %i. So then we have to use the control string. But in C++, C++ compiler is a smarter than a C language compiler. So no need to mention their control string. But of course we can use the formations in C++. Of C formations in C++, but no need to mention. So by using the insertion and extraction operator, it is automatically consider that what value is coming from the user, because whatever value is coming from the user, that is unknown to the compiler, and that unknown values cannot handle the C language compiler. That is why we have to pass the explicitly control string, that is %c, %f, like this.
So by using a C and C++ language, what kind of applications we can develop?
We can develop many type of applications, like compiler we can design. We can develop many desktop-based applications like library management. There are some, I have seen in some schools they are using the library management softwares in C and C++. Like graphics-based applications we can create, animation-based application we can create, and stock exchange market we have. So that application is also available in C and C++. There are many ways we can get applications, and generally C++ are used to create the hardware-based applications, like machine level programming we are using.
Like a system software.
Yes, like system software we can create.
Okay. What do you mean by null character?
Null character means /0 indicates that is a null character. It indicates that end of the string. Like in C, whenever we are creating a string, like for example we have a character array and we are passing in double quote, that is help for code e-learning. So that what compiler is doing, compiler is appending /0 at the end of the string. Okay, it considers that is the end of the string. So whenever we are doing some operations, so we know that what time I have to condition to be performed. Okay, what will be the stopping criteria for that particular string. So this is the null character.
Okay, what is a pointer or nested pointer or double pointer? What is meant by that?
Pointer means pointer is a special variable which is able to store the address of another variable. Okay, pointer to pointer, double pointer or nested pointer are the same concepts. Means while creating a normal pointer, we are using asterisk, like int asterisk p, that is p is a pointer variable. But whenever we are creating pointer to pointer or nested pointer, so we have to use two star symbol, means two asterisk. So that is considered as a pointer to pointer. So what pointer to pointer is doing? So like suppose I am having a address of person A, and then A is having an address of person B. So I can access the value of the value of the person B. So that is considered as a pointer to pointer, or we can say nested pointer.
What do you mean by static member and static member function?
Whenever static member and static member function means we have to use the static keyword. So whenever any variable declared as a static, so that is called as static member, and it will be assigned only at only once. Okay, and then whenever we are using static keyword with a function, that function is a static function, and that total memory is a shareable memory. Means like suppose I want to create a static, when we can create a static variable. Like suppose I am having a college, my college name should be a static. Means whenever I am performing any operation, whenever I am changing the college name, so that will be changed to all the objects. So all objects will be shared the same memory space. So when we don't want to create the duplicate copies, so we use the static. So we can create the static member or static member function, and the static member and static member function can be accessed by the class name as well as the object.
Who decides the range of data types in C and C++?
Actually, we are not the responsible to decide the range, or even not only a developer of the language. It is depend only that bit pattern of the programming languages. Like suppose I am considering that is char data type. So char data type is having a 1 byte of range, 1 byte of size. So like 1 byte means what? 8 bit is there. Okay. So in bit pattern, 1 byte is having a range -128 to +127. So we can't increase that size of 1 byte, because why? Because whenever we are mentioning that bits, so 8 bit means 1 byte. So first 7 bit represent the data. Means first 7 bit will be filled by the ones, that 7 bits are converted into a decimal, so that value will be the 127. Okay, and my sign bit will be the 0, means that is a positive value. So in case of positive value, my value will be the +127. But like my sign bit is 1, so we can say that is a negative value. Means we have to do 2's complement. So 2's complement of the original data. So what is my original data? My original data is a 127. 1 will be added to the 128. So what is my range now? -128 to +127. Means we can't decide the range. It is depend on that bit pattern. So similarly, 2 byte range will be allocated into the 16 bits, and the 16 bit range will be calculated.
What is a data abstraction?
Data abstraction means hiding of data is called as data abstraction. So in case of data abstraction, we are doing some hiding concepts. Like suppose I want to hide information from the outside the world. Okay, so in that case we use the data abstraction concepts. So in case of data abstraction, we can also achieve that data abstraction concept by using a pure virtual function in C++.
Okay, and what is a pure virtual function?
Pure virtual function means any virtual function that is assigned by 0, and that virtual function will be redefined by the child classes and other classes. So that function is said to be a pure virtual function, and that is nothing but our abstract class.
Okay, in case of C++, when diamond ring problem will occur?
Diamond ring problem. Actually, diamond ring problem maybe occur in inheritance. Like in inheritance, that is there is a multiple inheritance is there. So multiple, what is happening in multiple inheritance? One parent class is there, 2 child classes are there, and that 2 child class are inherited into third child class. Okay, 4th child class. So in that case, the diamond ring problem maybe occur. So for example, we have a parent class A, and then we have 2 child classes that are inherited from the parent class A. B is having a show function, C is having a show function, and that both classes are inheriting in fourth class, that is D. And whenever we are creating object of that D class, so D object will be confused. Which version of show I have to access? That B version of show or C version of show. So in such case, that we can say that is a diamond ring problem may be occur.
What is the recursion in C language?
Recursion means when function is defined and to call itself that again and again, so that function is said to be a recursion function.
Okay, what is the pre-increment and post-increment? What is the difference between that?
Pre-increment and post-increment, like a plus plus and minus minus we are using. So like suppose plus plus I we have, so that is considered as a pre-increment, and I plus plus, that is considered as a post increments. Like so pre-increment we can say that is a now increment, means whenever we are using that symbol, that is pre-increment operator, so that value will be incremented and assigned the same time. But whenever you are using I plus plus, that is a post increment, then we can say that it is a later increment. So when that variable will be operated next time, so then incremental operation will be done.
Okay, so that means same principle is going to be applied for decrement also.
Yes, same is for the decrement of.
Okay. What is the size of operator?
Size of operator is used to find the size of a variable or a data type. So we have a size of operator SIZEOF, and in bracket we have to pass a data type or variable, so it will return a size, what current size of my variable.
Okay, when we pass an array to a function, actual array as an argument to a function, so what we will get?
Actually, whenever we are passing an array to a function, so its base address is passed. Means that array's first element address is known as the base address. So whenever we are passing array to a function, so each first element of address is passed, and we can access that. We are accessing if that using pointers. So that array will be iterate and that data will be accessed. So base address is passed.
What are actual and formal parameter?
Actual and formal parameter means what? For example, we have an addition function, and addition function we are passing some value like 5,6 we are passing, that is known as the actual parameters. And and in definition part there might be variable in addition like int a and int b, so that value will be copied into that variable, so that variables are known as the formal parameters.
What is a constant?
Constant means constant means a fixed entity which value never be changed during program execution.
Okay, what is the difference between C language structure and in C++ structure?
Actually, structure is used to create the heterogeneous data in C and C++ also, but main difference is in case of C we can write only variables, means we can create only heterogeneous data only, but in C++ structure we can write functions within a structure also.
What is the constructor calling hierarchy?
Constructor calling hierarchy means, for example, we have a parent class is there, that is P, and we have child class is there, that is C. So parent class is having a constructor, default constructor, and child class is having a default constructor. But whenever we are creating object of the child class, so first parent class constructor will be executed, then the child class will be constructor will be executed. This hierarchy is followed by the in constructor hierarchy. In case of Java also this hierarchy is following.